guys, it's Shannon with True Crime with Shannon. I am back with another video and I appreciate you guys returning to the channel. Right off the bat, I apologize for the last video. I've had some lag issues with my recording, which I'm working on, so I'm trying another slight different setup today. So this has seemed to work out really well for a video I did yesterday on my other channel. So thank you guys for hanging out through all the little kinks and all that fun stuff, the growing pains and all that sort of stuff. But in the meanwhile, I wanted to again thank you for checking out the channel, and if you would hit that like button and hit that subscribe, that way you can be notified whenever I post a new video. And today we're going to be talking about the cyclist who was sadly killed. I went through a number of articles on this one, and I've settled on basically following Daily Mail out of the UK for the information, because their information, they're very thorough, which I, however, did use some other websites, as well as my favorite, website over at Dan Abrams Law and Crime, which I do love that one, as well as News Nation. But this one here, it is entitled, Revealed, Yoga Teacher Hunted by Cops Told Friends She Was Going to Kill Pro-Cyclist for Having an Affair with Her Boyfriend Who Hid Her Number in His Phone and Lied About Meeting Her on the Day She Was Murdered. Now this is a crazy love triangle, and it's crazy, and it continues to be crazy. Okay, here's some key points. Yoga teacher Kaitlyn Armstrong, 34, told a tipster that she was so angry she wanted to kill pro-cyclist Moriah Wilson. Wilson, 25, was found dead with a gunshot wound in an East Austin apartment in May, where she was staying with a friend before competing in a race. Wilson had a fling with Armstrong's boyfriend, Colin Strickland, during a break in their relationship last October, which Armstrong found out about in January. After Armstrong discovered the fling, she reportedly contacted Wilson several times and even called her to tell her she was the one who was dating Strickland. Strickland changed Wilson's name in his phone so that Armstrong wouldn't know who he was chatting with, so they can continue their relationship. On May 17, a gun was found at Strickland's residence was test fired, and police said it had significant potential that gun had been used in the crime. Surveillance footage also showed her SUV driving past the Austin apartment after Strickland walked Wilson home. Armstrong has now been charged with Wilson's murder and is on the run in Texas, where marshals have issued a warrant for her arrest. So that is, in a nutshell, what's going on. But this is a very crazy case. See, a Texas yoga teacher being hunted by cops over claims she murdered her boyfriend's professional cyclist secret lover, threatened to kill the victim before carrying out her threat, it is claimed. A police tipster who did not want to be identified told police that yogi Kaitlyn Armstrong flew into a rage after discovering cyclist boyfriend Colin Strickland's romance with fellow cyclist Moriah Wilson in January of 2022. The tipster got in contact with cops 3 days after Wilson was murdered back on May 11th while attending a cyclist contest in Austin. Armstrong was subsequently questioned by cops after the killing and freed. She is now missing. Yeah, they're looking for her. They still haven't found her since they questioned her a few days after the May 11th discovery of the cyclist. They said the caller advised she was with Armstrong in January 2022. The caller advised Armstrong had just discovered Strickland was having a romantic relationship with Wilson, even though Armstrong and Strickland were still dating. The caller advised Armstrong became furious and was shaking with anger. Armstrong told the caller that Armstrong was so angry that she wanted to kill Wilson. That's a little ironic, isn't it, though? She's a yogi, she's a yoga teacher, and, maybe she needs to do some extra, yoga breaths or something. Let's see. The affidavit added that Armstrong then proceeded to tell the caller Armstrong had either recently purchased a firearm or was going to. Wilson, the murdered cyclist, and Strickland are said to have hooked up last fall when Armstrong and Strickland split before getting back together. Armstrong found out about the fling back in January, but cops now believe that the affair may have continued. On the night of her death, Wilson had a secret pool date with Strickland after he lied to his girlfriend about dropping off flowers to a friend, it is claimed. Now, Armstrong is said to have found out about the pool date and is accused of shooting Wilson shortly after. The alleged killer's black Jeep was filmed in the vicinity of the house where Wilson was killed around the same time she was murdered. It's not looking good. She was definitely jealous. Okay. Meanwhile, Armstrong is said to have blocked Wilson from contacting her boyfriend on his phone. That is said to have prompted him to store her under another name so he can contact her secretly. So I guess he put her under some secret name. Around the time the couple saw Wilson, 25, at an event in January 2022, and the other woman had reportedly texted Strickland asking, "Hey, so I would like to talk to you at some point. Had originally texted you on Friday, but appears my texts aren't going through again. This weekend was strange for me, and I just wanted to know what's going on. If you just want to be friends, seems like that's maybe the case, and that's cool. But I'd like to talk about it because honestly, my mind has been going in circles, and I don't know what to think." Colin Strickland, who was 35, replied, "Hey Mo," that's Wilson, "feel very shitty for putting you in a position where you don't feel comfortable. Kaitlyn came along the go-to meeting about the Sprinter Spartan Hotel project. In hindsight, this was not a good idea." Wilson reportedly believed her, and Strickland were still in a relationship at this point. After Armstrong discovered their fling, she reportedly contacted Wilson several times and had even called her to tell her she was the one who was dating Strickland. Her boyfriend later changed Wilson's name in his phone so that his girlfriend would not know who he was chatting with so they could continue their relationship, and that so Armstrong had blocked his lover's number on the phone. He also reported deleted messages in his phone so she wouldn't find them as well. The unidentified friend said Strickland and Wilson had an on-again, off-again relationship and had met several times, and that Armstrong had recently begun following the cyclist on Instagram. On the day of Wilson's murder, the cyclist reportedly told her friend, Kaitlyn Cash, who had called 911, she was going to meet up with a friend named Colin to go swimming at Austin's famed Deep Eddy Pool. Cash left the residence around 5:30 p.m., and when she returned, she noticed the door was unlocked and observed Wilson lying on the bathroom floor, covered in blood, and no one else was inside. Cash said her door requires a unique code to open, and she had received a notification that the code was used around 5:55 p.m., showing that the door was locked, indicating that Wilson had left to go swimming, the affidavit said. She then received another notification around 8:30 p.m., indicating Wilson had returned. She said the password had recently been changed, and her and Wilson were the only two who knew it. Strickland told police he dropped Wilson off at around 8:45 and had stopped in the alleyway to text Armstrong, "Hey, are you out? Went to drop off some flowers for Allison at her son's house up north, and my phone died. Heading home unless you have another food suggestion." Strickland had lied about his whereabouts to Armstrong to hide that he was with Wilson throughout the evening, the affidavit said. Let's see. Armstrong's Jeep was seen driving by the residence Wilson was staying at shortly after it had appeared to stop. During an interview with the police, Armstrong did not deny that her vehicle was in the area at the time, but had no explanation as to why it was there. When the yoga teacher was questioned about her boyfriend's affair, she reportedly rolled her eyes in an angry manner. When authorities asked if she was upset and just in the area, Armstrong reportedly nodded her head and admitted that it didn't look good, the affidavit read. Recently released video footage shows a fugitive yoga teacher's car past the love rival's house around the same time the woman was shot dead inside. Armstrong's black Jeep Grand Cherokee, was pictured driving past the house in Austin on May 11th, where Wilson was staying with a friend. Wilson was shot dead inside the property around that same time, while visiting from San Francisco for an upcoming race. Shortly after being questioned about the whereabouts of her car, she requested to leave the interview, and police said she was very still throughout the whole thing. She has since disappeared. She's gone. That doesn't make her look guilty. I don't know what. On May 17th, the firearm located at Strickland's residence was test-fired, and police had determined it had significant potential that that's the gun that could have been used in the crime. Police now think that the discovery of the relationship caused Armstrong to snap, and learning that she went swimming with her boyfriend may have driven Armstrong to kill. Investigators are also probing whether exercise app Strava led Armstrong to Wilson's location. It is used by runners and cyclists to share exercise routes, and Wilson's profile, which has now since been deleted, was publicly visible. She uploaded a cycle route beginning and ending at the Austin property where she was staying on May 11th, the date of her death, disclosing her location. Now, I use Strava. You can disable your location or not, and apparently she did not disable that. Armstrong, who is now being sought by the FBI after being charged with Wilson's first-degree murder, also uses Strava. Her profile has recently been changed from public to private, although it's unclear if she made that change herself. Interesting. Wilson and Strickland had dated for a week during a time when Strickland and Armstrong were on break last year, but the cyclists remained friends and went out for dinner at the Pool Burger before Strickland dropped her off at 8:30 p.m. at a friend's home in East Austin. Armstrong did not arrive back at the house she shared with Strickland until 9:20 p.m., he told police. On the day of the excursion, a Ring camera captured the moment Armstrong's black 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee was seen driving by the friend's home in the evening and shortly after Strickland dropped off Wilson. Moments after the car was spotted, Wilson's friend came home and found the cyclist dead with multiple gunshot wounds. An arrest warrant has been issued for Armstrong, who remains on the run and has deleted all of her social media accounts. So she's in the wind. She's in the wind, and she's been in the wind since she's been questioned. Strickland and Armstrong got back together shortly after his fling with Wilson, but his girlfriend only found out about the 1-week dalliance in January. So I guess she didn't like that they had a fling in January. Just a week while they were off. Let's see. Strickland told police he purchased 2 9mm handguns for him and Armstrong around this time. Strickland told detectives that Armstrong did not know where he was meeting up with Wilson or where she was staying. Armstrong may have been able to figure that out, the location, through the Strava fitness app. So I guess Strava did not do her any good in this case. The app, which used by cyclists and runners to track their progress and upload video and photos of their routines, was tracking Wilson's progress on the day of the murder as she uploaded a ride that began and ended at the East Austin home she was staying at. The only thing missing from her room was her bike, which investigators said they found in a bamboo thicket more than 60 feet from the house. Strickland on Friday issued a statement and insisted his relationship with Wilson was platonic and professional. He wrote, "There is no way to adequately express the regret and torture I feel about my proximity to this horrible crime." He said he was fully cooperating with the police. "I admire her greatly and consider her a close friend," he wrote. "I am deeply grieving her loss." Wilson was seen as a rising star in the sport. She had just turned professional, leaving her job at California-based company Specialized, and weeks before had taken the first lead for elite women in the Lifetime Grand Prix Off-Road Series. She had a busy season of racing ahead of her, with competitions across the United States and in East Africa. Wilson grew up in East Burke, Vermont. Her father, Eric Wilson, was in the U.S. ski team, while her aunt, Laura, competed in the Olympics as a cross-country ski racer. In a statement, her family said, "While the tragic loss of Moriah is unfathomable, at the same time we want everyone to join us in celebrating her life, accomplishments, and love for others." Always pushing tirelessly to reach her goals, we knew she was pursuing that which she loved. We will miss her terribly and know that all mourn her with us. The family has started a GoFundMe page with the goal of raising $100,000 to help fund community organizations that help youth find self-confidence, strength, and joy through biking, skiing, and other activities that Moriah was passionate about. Her parents, Eric and Karen, thanked the cycling community for their support. "While the tragic loss of Moriah is unfathomable, at the same time, we want everyone to join us in celebrating her life, accomplishments, and love for others," they said in a statement. "We know that Moriah would like the event to carry on for her compatriots to test their limits as she would have been alongside her friends on the race course. We hope everyone feels her passion and support as they chase their own dreams. Her spirit will be there with you all while training and on every race day." So there is quite a warrant here, affidavit, for the suspect, our yogi, and they are charging her with murder, Miss Kaitlyn Marie Armstrong. And I'm going to include a link to that in the show information, the video information rather, because it's quite long. And they're always very thorough, the law enforcement. It was filed on 5/19/2022 at 8:20 a.m. from the state of Texas versus Kaitlyn Marie Armstrong. So at this point, she's charged with first-degree murder, which is a first-degree felony, and looks like that may be so far the only charge. However, that doesn't mean they won't add any more on. So, as a runner, I know this is my true crime channel, but as a runner, I feel really bad for her. The running community and the cycling community have something in common, whereas we all are so, we're like a family. So I know that the cycling community is in deep mourning for her. And you know, my condolences go out to her family and all her close friends and all her other friends in the cycling community. But most of all, right now, we need to find her killer. She shouldn't be free. She needs to be found. She went out, and in a bit of rage, Kaitlyn decided to attack this poor innocent girl who maybe dated her boyfriend for a few days or a week, and then they decided to stay friends. So I guess she doesn't like anybody being friends with her boyfriend. Okay, so we need to find this Kaitlyn Armstrong. She's been out on the lam, as they say, for a little too long right now. I mean, she definitely took the time to, what I feel like, my opinion is, she stalked, basically, Wilson. She stalked her boyfriend and Wilson, and she decided to, instead of just to keep talking to her, and, you know, and that she decided to do something about it, and she killed her in cold blood. So she needs to be caught, and I'm hoping that some folks have some information that can lead to her capture so that she can be arrested and put behind bars, and get, you know, her family can get some justice for this, as well as the cycling community. Okay, thank you guys for checking out the channel again, and please hit that like button, and again, hit subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and have a good one, everyone.